Hello and happy Monday. The transfer window is open, and yet as I sit here looking at the transfer activity screen, we have nothing going on. I mean, there's some transfer budget and some wage budget if I wanted to spend it, if I felt like I needed to spend it, but the reality is I've played a whole lot of Football Manager since last episode, and I don't feel like I need to spend it. Since last episode, we've played 15 competitive games, we've had the winter break, we've played so much football, and I want to just show you the league table. I just want to flex it before the intro. We are top, 9 points clear of Hoffenheim in second. Yeah, a Hoffenheim team predicted to finish 9th, currently second. The team in 4th, equally as weird, Cologne. We played them on the opening day of the season, you might remember, we beat them handsomely. They're up in 4th. Despite all of that, though, and how well things are going, we still have a task to do today. We have Schalke to potentially play in a local derby. But before all of that, Man City away from home in the Champions League. And they have that man that everyone fears in their Football Manager save games, Erling Haaland. I'm looking forward to this. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Rebuilding Dortmund. Today's episode number 21, and as already mentioned, there may be a Schalke game today. There may be a Marseille game today. That all depends on how the Champions League is looking after our upcoming game against Man City. We are due to take on Marseille in just a week's time, but it's a game that might not actually mean anything, and that is because at the moment, as you can see here, we sit top of the group stage of the Champions League with 6 games played, and we're in a really good position where I believe, and I'm not 100% sure of this, but mathematically, even a draw in this game against Man City would guarantee us a spot in the top 8, and of course it would mean that we enter the knockout stage one round later, which is a really nice thing to do. And even if we don't beat Man City, we'd have a chance to do it against Marseille, which, if we just look at this screen here, we play in 6 days. So plan of attack, we play Man City, see how we get on. If we look good, we'll do the Schalke game. If it looks like we're not guaranteed top 8, Marseille awaits. Either way, some big games to be played. And well, since last episode, there's been plenty of big games played. I'm not going to go through all 15 of these competitive games in a load of detail, but I think the big headline news is lots and lots of goals. We're still in the DFB Pokal. We beat Nuremberg 3-2. Leverkusen we beat 3-1. Massive result against Monaco as well, by the way. This was a really good result in the Champions League. 3-2 win here. Adamu has been in some really, really great form, as you can see by his ratings here. Sadly, however, in our most recent game, he got injured, not available for the next few. And in fact, the month of November was a really great month for us. 4-0 against Hertha Berlin, 4-1 against Werder Bremen, 4-1 against Rangers in the Champions League, and then this game here, Eintracht Frankfurt down in the relegation zone. I played a very heavily rotated team. We lost 3-0. We got battered. I wish I could sit here and give you some really good justification for why it happened. There's no means by which to justify this. Even with the little bits of rotation that we did, we weren't good enough. We didn't score. And that is something that we don't do very often. Good news, though, we did take that defeat personally, and in the month of December, we went rather mad. 4-0 against Wolfsburg, 4-0 against Hanover. You can see the goal scorers here. Some great goal-scoring records by players. 7-0 against Salzburg with 7 different goal scorers was immense in the Champions League. And we concluded the first half of the season with a 5-0 win against Freiburg. And then, final game before Christmas, there was no Christmas spirit. Augsburg were given a gift. That gift, a 5-1 pumping. This was a great result. Came back from behind, 1-0 down at half-time, got shouty. Real variety in the goal scorers, great performance by the whole midfield. And yeah, the goal scoring record has been superb. Since the winter break, we did play a pre-season friendly against our under-19s, won 7-0. Don't know why I'm mentioning that. I'm just flexing on the under-19s. Why not do that? Our first competitive game of the year was against Cologne, away from home. Already mentioned, they are in the top 4. They justified their place in the top 4. We could only draw against them 1-1. Adriano got the goal for us. And in fact, Adriano's goal scoring lately has been rather impressive. 10 goals to his name in the Bundesliga. You can see here when you look at his recent form in the last 20 games. He has been top draw for us. We navigated through the DFB Pokal third round with a 3-0 win against Hoffenheim, and perhaps the pick of the bunch in terms of results, 6-1 against Union Berlin. Lucas Nemecha scored for them. Just as a reminder, Nemecha was a player who I signed for Union Berlin. As I left the club, he left to go to Juventus for 75 million. Union bought him back for 25 million pounds this year, and whilst he did score in this game, that was all that they'd have to celebrate because we took it personally. In the second half, we scored 5 goals, and Gruder got man of the match. 2 assists, 1 goal to his name. He has been turning on the assist button. I don't know what that means. He's gone into assist mode. Mr. Assister, as we call him. 11 assists, 6 goals in 16 games. Unsurprisingly, when you look at the Bundesliga table, we're top, 9 points clear. Goal scoring wise, Adamu's goal scoring form has been immense. Bit of a shame he's injured. In terms of average ratings, we dominate the top of this chart with some really, really top performances. Always good to see both of your kind of striking options in the top 2, especially because only one of them starts at a time, but both Adamu and Viper have been superb. And in terms of assists, Gruder leads the way in the league with 11. Things are going pretty hunky-dory. Not sure where hunky-dory came from. That might be the first time I've ever used that expression in a YouTube video. It just means things are going good for non-native speakers. Not something you want to say in day-to-day life. Not particularly cool. So yes, the team is in a really, really great position. We've been performing superbly. We're scoring goals for fun. Already at this point in the season in January, 4 players in double figures for goals. Now, naturally, the injury to Adamu is a slight concern, but when you look at the player we have to step up, we have Viper, who has 16 goals to his name. I feel like we should still be okay today. Saying all of that, Man City away, even if we were fully fit, would be a rather difficult game. Just for a bit of context here, our highest earners are on £120,000 a week. Man City's highest earners, well, it's Haaland, on £475,000 a week. In fact, I think you could probably take the top 6 or 7 players on this list of players sorted by wages at Man City, and they'd be on more than our entire first team combined. That said, they are struggling in the Champions League. Man City in this universe have won the Premier League the last 2 years in a row, but if we just look at the Champions League, it's a good season for German clubs, actually. Freiburg are going strong. Bayern Munich have already qualified for the playoffs as well. As for Man City, they are only 1 point ahead of a load of trailing teams. They absolutely need to win this game. They're going to be desperate to do it. If we could beat them, we could potentially prevent them making the knockouts. And I don't know about anyone else, but if Man City aren't in the knockouts, our chances of winning this competition, I feel like, do rise slightly. In terms of team news for today's game, I've just remembered, fill out the bench. We should do that first and foremost. But yes, Adamu's out injured. Another player who's injured who I've not even mentioned yet, Wirtz. We signed this guy. We knew he had an issue with injuries. We knew he was injury prone and it was a concern. He's broken his ankle. He broke his ankle in November. He's going to be out for 3 to 5 more weeks. He's already missed the last 2 months. If there is a silver lining to garner from any of this, his absence hasn't really affected us. I mean, it's not really a silver lining. I spent a lot of money on this guy, so for him to miss 3 months at least, not ideal. Good news, though, when it comes to the rest of the team, we are at full strength. Viper will be starting up top. That is a big, big moment for him, I suppose, coming on in this game. You might remember last episode, our assistant was saying he preferred Viper to Erling Haaland. That will be tested today. Elsewhere, Nonto is going to be playing out on the left-hand side. He's been in some great form lately. 4 goals and 6 assists in his last 10 games. Gruder, I've already talked about. I'm going to talk about him again. 11 assists in his last 10 games and 5 goals. We've been in a goal-scoring mood as of late. That said, in terms of quality, at least on paper, of teams, I feel like Man City's defence is probably the toughest we're going to have played over the last few months. And in terms of the Man City team we're playing, you can see them here. Ruben Diaz and Laporte in the team. Rico Lewis at right back. Rodri, Casado, Bellingham in the midfield. They've got Bellingham in the midfield. I also spotted a wild Jeremy Pino. Yeah, this is a good team that we're playing today. I am just checking. They have Jude Bellingham in their team. They signed him from Real Madrid for 163 million smackers. It's a lot of money, but he's probably worth that much. If Man City didn't make the knockout stages of the Champions League, it would be absolute insanity, especially with the expanded format where 24 out of 36 teams make it. Even with their poor form, I imagine they're the favourites going into this game, and while they've got us on the back foot early on in this game, mad scramble in the box, which we are going to deal with. That said, don't be surprised if there's going to be more highlights like that for us to deal with between now and the end of the game. Ball gifted, by the way, to Phil Foden. Edge of the box, he's bringing it forward. Fortunately for us, his shot's the wrong side of the post. Corner, Phil Foden. We've already let him have a sight of a shot. On this occasion, the cross goes in. We're going to half deal with it. Mitchell now with the ball pulls it back to Bellingham. Is it just me or is the ball really hard to see in this match? Is it just me? I mean, it's in the back of the net. I can see that much. Casado has scored for them. It's 1-0 Man City. I'm very tempted to go to 2D. I don't know if it's just me. It could just be me. I'm struggling to see it while I'm playing the game, the match ball. YouTube compression is always a tricky thing when it comes to the colour green. You know what? I'm in a 2D mood. We're going to 2D. Some people at home right now are pumping their fists thinking, get in there, 2D massive. Some people are sat upset. I used to do all my YouTube videos like this. I do feel like there is a charm to the 2D. But yeah, 3D today, the ball is just difficult to see with the nighttime lighting at the Etihad. So rather than watch our suffering in 3D, let's watch our suffering in 2D instead. Man City probably should have scored there. Bullet on the far side of the pitch. The number 2 tries to get into the middle, but Rodri reads it well. Now with Pino, he gives it back to Laporte. Rodrigo Casado. Their team is absolutely stacked, isn't it? How are they struggling so much in the Champions League? I think they've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. It's absolute madness. I don't know if they've got any injuries from their team or if any players have been injured. All I know is Erling Haaland's in and he's scored the 1-on-1. It's 2-0. I don't know why I thought coming back for the Man City game was a good idea. And for the 3D faithful, don't worry, you still get the 3D replay so we can enjoy Erling Haaland having my pants down in 3D glory. Jovic got a really good hand to it. Sadly, it wasn't enough. Laporte with the ball at the back, looking to bring it forward here. Lays it wide to Mitchell. Foden, Casado, back with Mitchell at left back. If we could win the ball off him, there might be a little chance to spring a counter-attack. We're trying to put Haaland under some pressure. Sadly for us, he's managed to wrestle away the ball, hold it up nicely, and Man City retain the ball. It's now Mitchell inside. It's Haaland, who has had an effort there. Jovic actually tipped over the crossbar. 5 minutes left of the half. On the one hand, it's 2-0 and we're losing. On the other hand, it could have been a lot worse. I look at the stats of this game. There's no real redeeming qualities. This has the vibe of one of those games where you kind of turn up in Football Manager and nothing you can do is going to change the course of the game. But maybe we don't need to do anything to change the course of the game. Nonto has scored. Gruder gets the assist. It's completely against the run of play, to be frank. It's our second shot on target. I was about to say, this has the vibe of one of those games where you just kind of turn up and take your pounding. You know, you just accept the fact you're not going to win it. Maybe I don't need to accept that fate just yet. It's a great little finish. It's 2-1. We're not out of it yet. Okay, half-time in this game, we're 2-1 down. It should be so much worse. They were carving us open in that half. I'm going to tell the players they've been terrible so far. Viper's actually been really poor in the striking area, which is a little bit of a concern. I'm going to change things up here. I'm going to change both our inverted wingers to support. I'm going to play Adriano as a shadow striker, and I'm actually going to take off Kameri in this game, and I'm going to bring in Arata, who has been developing really nicely, actually, Arata, to play as our defensive midfielder. Of course, the £60 million man has a goal and an assist to his name, has recently been really improving his work rate. In fact, I think it's gone from 10 to 12 in the first 6 months he's been at the club. He's going to get tested a little bit here, as I'm going to go for an Nkili Arata pivot at the back. And elsewhere, Becker, let's just put you on defend. Let's be a little bit sensible in this one, as, I don't know, I feel like what we've been doing so far in this game hasn't really been working. Okay, we're going to go more direct. We're going to try and get the ball into the wider areas. I'm hoping that with 2 centre defensive mids, we can offer a bit more protection, and combined with us being a bit more direct with our play, hopefully when we do lose the ball, we're losing it in less bad areas. We're a team that love to have a load of the ball as they hit the crossbar, but in this game we've not really had any of it, and Man City have just had us pressed so far back that when we attempt to play out from the back, we don't actually get out of our third, and it's not really a position you want to have the ball in, your own third against Man City, with or without the ball. Casado hits it over. Going to make some more changes, I think. We're at 65 minutes played. I paused the game to make some changes, then a highlight began. I suppose we'll let this highlight play out, but this match story, that is concerning, isn't it? Pino's cut inside. Jovic saves it. If we can get a result from here, it will be the biggest smash and grab in recent memory at the club. I'm going to move Nonto to striker. Sheldrup is going to come in and play as an inverted winger out on the left-hand side. Bino Gittins, he's going to play as a winger on the right. I'm going to make Arata now play as a bit of a segundo volante to get forward a little bit more. Ultimately, whilst I have set everyone to stay back, there's no point in settling for 2-1 here. Goal difference isn't really a factor for us because we've scored so many goals, whereas getting a point here could still be massive. I will say now, when you look at the stats, a point at this point would be an absolute miracle to pull off. But we've got to believe, we've got to dream, we've got to weather a storm here. Jose Gaia whips it in, Ruben Diaz heads over, and I mean, 2-1, result is great. The actual performance here has been, frankly, Awful. 4 minutes of added time. There might be one last chance. Shelder at back post. Arian B gets into a dangerous area. Arata can't get the ball in. He's battling away with Bellingham. Arata comes away with it. Lays it to Arian B. If we could score here, it'd be disgraceful. It would be disgraceful. Shelder scores. VAR's going to check it. Is it going to count? It's not counted. I didn't even get shown the VAR highlight because we're in extra time and Football Manager's weird. Oh, I thought we'd done it. I mean, Edison's now time-wasting, the cheeky git. And it was almost the ultimate smash and grab. But now, sadly for us, maybe Casado's just going to go up the other end and score. Omobamidele defends well. But I fear that is that. With 20 seconds left on the clock, it's still 2-1. We've given them a bloody good game. Sadly, it wasn't quite good enough. I mean, they've brought on Valverde and Jose Gaia in this game. Their team is ridiculous. Their team, it's not fair. It's not fair. Was it offside? We get a lovely 2D/3D hybrid. It was offside. It finishes here 2-1. We were underdogs out there. It was a good effort. I thought we'd absolutely stolen it at the end. Statistically, we were never really in it. With that result there, our fate isn't 100% sealed, although our goal difference is plus 15. I have to make a call here. Do we do the Marseille game or do we do the Schalke game? You know what? We'll do both. We'll do Schalke in recappy format because they are our local rivals, but we should be battering them. Okay, so we aren't turning this into a spontaneous triple header, but this game here should be straightforward. Schalke, local rivals, fierce rivals. I know how much the Dortmund fans who watch this series always want to see me play Schalke. That's why we're here now to take them on. I don't know why I've said here twice. I'm just very excitable. Either that or maybe I'm turning into Michael Jackson, you know, like, where's this go? There's... What's happening? Okay, so team news for this game. Tempted to rotate things a little bit. Decided to bring in Andreas. Going to start Orata as well. Showing a little bit of faith in him. Elsewhere in the team, is there anyone elsewhere I might want to rotate things around just with fitness in mind? You know what? Arian B can have a rest. Torunari can come in. He's been in some good form. Besides that, though, I just really want to win this game convincingly. So I am going to go full strength-ish. Also, probably, and I say probably, definitely, should get out of the 2D view. Okay, normality's resumed, I feel calm. Halfway through this first half already, we're having a load of possession, but not really creating anything. So I am going to just change up some instructions, go a little bit more direct, and also just distribute it to the flanks. Perhaps slightly more direct with our play. 66 possessions, nice. We've not had a shot on target. Okay, maybe one last highlight before half-time. I say one last highlight. This is the first highlight of the game. You've really not missed much in this game thus far, but a goal here would really set the mood. It would change the mood going in at the break. Andreas holds up the play nicely, lays it to Adriano, back to Becker, the left back. Gruder hits it. It's 1-0. It's beautifully worked. And I'm calm. The changes have worked. Well, we waited 40 plus minutes for the first highlight of the game. We're straight into another one here. Schalke looking for the immediate response. They've looped it long. And I'll tell you what, I'm Dooney. I want to watch that finish again. I didn't even commentate over the replay of our goal because I only wanted to see it once. I will watch this goal twice quite happily. Oddly satisfying the way it ricocheted off the woodwork. Ball was dinked in behind. It's a looping ball. Torunari, I've brought him into the team. He's fallen asleep at the wheel. And that shot there has hit the crossbar, hit the post, and ended up in the back of the net. Half-time here, when you look at the XG story, it looks even. But we were very, very slow to get going. Once we did get going, I think we were the better team. But that does not show on the scoreline right now. Becker throwing it inside, straight to Doku. But we do manage to mop up the pieces. Orata, Becker, Kameri, Arata. The number 12 has been really, really solid for us. He's played a lot of games as a starter. This one here, he's not really put a foot wrong in just yet. Pulling the strings from deep. I've jinxed it. He's lost the ball for us. Why did I say anything? Ball attempted to be dinked in behind. It's how they got in behind us previously, the big ball over the top. On this occasion, we've managed to deal with it adequately. And now we're looking to work the ball perhaps through the middle. Becker down the line to Andreas. Some space ahead of him. Can we get our noses back in front? No, Nonto's shot is saved. Giovanni Reina, on you come. Viper, on you come. Getting some fresh legs into the team. And Killy, you can come in as well for Adriano in this game. We're playing Killy at Mazzala changing things up. There's still half an hour left. Don't need to panic just yet, but if this ends 1-1, I will be firmly disappointed. Bullet on this near side. Throw in, given to Arata. He's going to whip it in towards Giovanni Reina, who almost got the end of it. Schalke, though, dealt with it, and now suddenly this 2-on-1 at the back. Where are we defensively? Amdouni, fortunately for us, shoots wide. 3 minutes left in this game, plus any added time. 1-1 would be so disappointing here. And that is exactly how it's going to finish. It was not a classic by any means. 2 goals in the space of a minute at the end of the first half were all that could separate the team in terms of defensive frailties. There were no shots. There were no chances. Did a results go our way? Well, good news. Hoffenheim did also draw. Leipzig won, but they're 11 points behind us with 14 games left. I'm not so worried about them at the moment. The team I am worried about is Bayern Munich, who did just win 2-0 against Hertha Berlin. They're up to second. Anyway, we have still got one more game today. It's against Marseille. I would love to finish top of the group stage here to conclude the Champions League. Goal difference is very likely going to separate the teams. So let's hope that we can get a good result against Marseille. Avoid having to play an extra knockout round. That would be tasty. We take on the French side in a few days' time. We're going to rest up the players and hope we can get a good result over them. Okay, folks, third and final game today. Marseille, a team that we really should be beating here, given where they are and where we are. Their squad quality is not near Man City's. Their key player is Okafor, who is a player who technically I could have signed at some point as one of our wildcard signings. But the reality is, compared to the players already in our squad, he's not all it. We should be beating them. I am also fully aware, you might have noticed, we have got Bayern Munich and Leipzig in our next 2 games, but given the fact we are 8 points clear, and I might live to regret this, I don't plan on coming back for those 2 games. It's kind of still an early point in the season in terms of the halfway point. I've already played them both in an episode this season, and whilst it could come back to bite me horrifically, I'm not concerned by either of them. I'll tell you, that really could age horrifically depending on when we come back next time. Anyway, though, here and now, Marseille, that is what we are focusing on. When it comes to team news for today's game, Adamu is injured, Omibamidele is suspended, Wirtz also coming back from his broken ankle. It does mean that this is the team we are going with today. No messing around, no rotation like there was against Schalke. Viper starts up top. Taruna Riga will partner Arian B at centre-back. Besides that, though, it is a full strength 11. Interesting to note, Marseille are operating with this kind of 3-4-3 system. So they are going to be playing defensive. I mean, they can play defensive all they want. 3 defenders with 2 centre defensive mids and wing backs is not stopping that going in. That is one of the most ridiculous free kicks I've seen in Football Manager this year. Have you seen a free kick like that before? I'm not sure I have. That is ridiculous by Gruder. I was sat in my head looking at their formation thinking, well, if I can't break them down, how would I change things? Would I give the wingers more permission to get further forward? Suddenly, with our noses in front, I feel like I can... I could dare to utter it. I feel like I can relax a little bit. I say all of that. Eze's in behind here. The number 10 drifting wide. Options in the middle. Great block by Arian B, it has to be said. Now, could we catch them on the counter-attack? Gruder looking to go down the line to Viper, who wins it well in the air. Gruder, the goal scorer, inside. Adriano, Viper, cutting them open. The shot hits the crossbar. And, well, it's half cleared away from danger. Marseille, perhaps fortunate, it's only 1-0. 5 minutes left of the half here. Still 1-0 to the good. Marseille yet to have a shot on target. We really have held them back. They had that kind of half chance that led to our ultimate effort. They did have a shot right at the end of the half, but it has been one-way traffic. Gonna tell the players I'm delighted. More of the same in the second half would be delightful. You have to imagine there's going to be a point in this game where Marseille realise, hey, maybe we do need to attack. Whether or not that point's going to come sooner or later remains to be seen. There is going to be a kickoff highlight, though. And for, well, the longer this remains at 1-0, the more I will fear the counter-attack they could unleash. A goal by Kameri from there would have been spectacular. Sadly, it's over the bar. Maffeo with the throw-in. Lays it into Okafor. Trying to work the space down the line. Of course, the wing-backs for Marseille being their sole wide players. They really have got to offer something going forward. And in this game so far, they simply have not done that. Marseille content to sit back with this really kind of big block of just 7 players in front of the goalkeeper, challenging us to break them down. And whilst we've managed to break them down once, It's going to be tough, I feel like, to do it again. We've done it on a couple of occasions, I suppose, but it is going to be some incisive passing, like that kind of pass, that we're going to need to maybe make something happen here. Viper goes down in a heap. Quarter was the man who did the foul. VAR is going to be consulted. Are we about to get a penalty? It looked very, very soft, it has to be said. Viper not really in danger of doing anything from that position. He was nudged in the back. The penalty is given. He now has a chance to convert the effort, having won the penalty himself. The German youngster steps up. Not had a great game so far in this game. His penalty is saved. Could get the rebound. It hits the woodwork. And it remains at 1-0. I mean, Gruder's already scored one free kick for us. Another free kick would be nice. One is good. Twice is twice as nice. His effort hits the crossbar and is cleared away. Coming up to an hour played, getting ready to make some subs. We have been all over Marseille like a nasty rash, it has to be said. But despite being all over them, we've not managed to put in that killing blow. You know, rashes, they're not known for killing. We need to be more than a rash. We need to be an infection. Also, a rash is an infection. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this whole metaphor. We need to be better going forward. That is the TLDR. We also need to remain solid at the back as Okafor scores for them to make it 1-1. That's what I get for whatever that rash analogy was. We were looking good. We were looking in control. They've applied the antiseptic cream, and, well, the ball was played in here. Arian B has not dealt with that at all. Okafor hits it goalwards, finds the bottom corner. It's 1-1. Okay, Viper has been poor. Missed that penalty as well. I'm going to take him off, move Nonto into the striking area. Sheldrup is going to play out on the left-hand side. Bino Gittins, I'm tempted to bring on as well in this game. I suppose the issue I've got is with the injuries to strikers, there's not super obvious immediate players to bring in. In fact, you know what? Andreas, you're going to play as an advanced forward, mate. Good luck. Have also made the decision to bring in Giovanni for Adriano. He wasn't having a particularly good game in this one. Marseille will feel like their game plan has been executed to perfection, won't they? 2 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal. It's all that they've needed. That said, I think if they want to make it through, they might need another. We'll check that following this highlight as we're going to get the ball into a dangerous area. Giovanni Reina scores. Is it going to count? VAR is going to be consulted. I can only assume it's for the Andreas nod down. 2 subs linking up. Is it going to count? The answer is yes, it is. It's 2-1. It comes from this throw-in. Gruder to Bullet. Whip back post. The Norwegian nods it down, and Giovanni Reina hits it on the half volley. If scores stay as they are, we will be top of the group, although I think some teams do play tomorrow in the Champions League. Elsewhere, Man City up to 9th. Marseille will be in 21st, but with a load of teams behind them, all having games in hand. 6 minutes left of this game. 2-1 to the good. I would love another goal, please, Football Manager. Down the line, Bino Gittins. Can he get it on his right foot? He can. Kameri, edge of the box, volleys it. Keeper saves it. Gruder's rebound hits the woodwork. I've lost count of the amount of times we've hit the post today. 4 minutes of added time. Time trickling away. Maybe one last chance for Marseille. Throwing men forward. The ball is played into a dangerous area. Jovic comes out, smashes it. Just gets it as far away from his own goal as he can. And now Marseille looking to make something happen. Ball played forward. Vitinha on a booking into the box. Lays it to Okafor. They've scored again. It's 2. I can't believe it. You know, that Okafor, he could be a good wildcard signing, you know. I mean, he's made me look like a right knob, hasn't he? So talked about him as a possible wildcard signing. Said I didn't think he was good enough. He's had 2 chances in this game. He's taken both of them. And with that, whilst I do think we are still guaranteed a spot in the top 8 of the Champions League, we're not going to be finishing top of the bunch. It finishes here 2-2, and I'm fuming. Confirmation that we have qualified for the round of 16. Things that you absolutely love to see. That guarantees us a spot in the slightly later knockout rounds. 1 less game to worry about, or actually 2 less games to worry about because of extra time. Not a bad spot to be in. And if you were wondering, did that goal for Marseille matter? All the Wednesday games have just been played, and Marseille have made it in by the skin of their teeth. It turns out, had they lost, they would have still made it through. As for ourselves, we qualify 5th, which, I mean, is not bad. It's annoying that Bayern finished top, though. Now, like I already mentioned, we have got Bayern Munich and Leipzig in our next 2 games. Don't plan on coming back for those 2 just because we've already played them in episodes, and given how the league's looking, I'd like to think we can deal with them okay. Could come back to bite me, that. There is £11 million in the transfer budget and about £200,000 in wages, but I'm not sure where I'd spend that, even if I wanted to spend that. So whilst the transfer window is still open, don't expect anything new next time. In terms of what you can expect next time, I suspect it'll be Champions League knockout action. I hope you guys are excited for it. I'll see you tomorrow for that. Until next time, take things easy. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you all again in a bit. I'm out.